I'm so sorry to hear that a lot of you are struggling with stomach issues. I read your comments on my previous post, and since this is not an isolated case, it wasn't just me feeling sick, and I noticed that a lot of you came forward to say that you've been having upset tummies. I have the feeling that it has to do with the integration of light codes. It's a year of solar maximum. The sun's activity is wild. It's supposed to be like this every 12 years. This is natural for the sun to go through this frenzy. And I think we're just adapting to all of this fresh energy that is being sent to Earth. So I feel that the coven will continue strongly. We will recover from this. I also am feeling much better. And I hope that this healing pick a card reading is going to help you. So have a good time. Enjoy it. From me and my squid friend, I'm sending you lots of love. Hey crew, welcome to the Spiritual Social. I'm Lexi, your local light worker, and I thought of bringing you today a very special pick a card reading. This is going to be a tarot and oracle reading with 4 options, very cute 4 options, on the topic of inner child healing. Yes, we will dive deep today, and we will use these furry friends to help unblock any of the problematic aspects of your wounded inner child. This reading is not for everybody. This is not going to be the most lighthearted reading. Some of you may feel triggered. You may hear certain things that could be a little bit hard to process. But the cards that I have here in front of you that I have pre-shuffled and pre-selected, they all carry some optimistic messages, especially because I'm using the Therapet's Oracle, and that's known for having really positive message on any of its cards. So, I do wanted to give you this short disclaimer just in case you may not be up for something a little bit deeper. Maybe you're on the beach somewhere and you're just casually perusing through YouTube and you're wondering whether this would be something good for you. Only if you feel ready for it, only if you want to dive a little bit deeper. We will be talking about childhood. We will be talking about potentially topics such as maybe neglect, maybe certain things that have happened that are giving you all sorts of hang-ups, blockages, limits. It's not going to be too scary or too frightening, okay? But I just wanted to give you a small disclaimer, as I said at the beginning, because yeah, you never know in these cases, you know, if you feel too triggered, if you feel too low in terms of your mood, please reach out to somebody in your community. There is always ample help available, okay? So the reading will be fun and sweet and in a way quite cozy, but at the same time we will be talking about some serious childhood parenting issues as well. Before I introduce you the 4 options that I have here in front of me, they all have cute names as well. But before we dive into this, I just wanted to say that most of my pick a card readings, especially the very good ones, because I have a couple of them out there that have not been excellent, but the ones that really are close to my heart, those are the ones that are usually inspired by books. You guys know I'm an avid reader. I have been reading things in a fury, like with so much passion this year. And I was lucky to stumble upon this book, which initially sent me down this path of inner child healing, Kelly McDaniel's book Mother Hunger. It is excellent. I highly recommend that you guys read it. It's not a big book. It has some practical exercises, like you can already see my scribbles. It's just beautiful. She invites you to raise a tent in your living room and seek your inner mother connection, as if you're pretending you're going on an adventure and as if the tent is a womb. She invites you to make a collage of your ideal home. There are so many safe practices that you can find here. It's a wonderful book. I cannot recommend it enough, especially if, like me, you also have a lot of inner child wounds and you have a difficult connection, especially with the mother figure, right? So another book that I read recently. So in July of this year, this is something I've been meaning to read for a while. Some of you may know this. It's Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. She has very good reason for stating this. It's also tragicomical in a way. Tragical because of how she was raised in front of the limelights in her childhood and for the purposes that her mother has been using her. But comical in parts because life is never just bleak. It's always bleakly humorous at times. And she's a champ. Jeanette is such a champ. She managed to just describe with so much candor, but also with a lot of honesty, her relationship to her very difficult mother. I am planning on doing a deeper astrological analysis of her chart. She was born with Saturn in Aquarius in the 7th house. Ouch. Not only that, but she has a south node in Cancer and a north node in Capricorn at that 0 degree. These two markers alone are telling me deep karma with long-term people in her life, her parents, the 7th house, the loved ones, and south node in Cancer, letting go of the mother, releasing the mother. Right, so another person that I'm really fascinated, who shares this placement, I'm really fascinated by her, and she shares this placement with Jeanette, the karmic nodes, is Shirley Jackson, whose work I've recently become acquainted with as I saw The Haunting of Hill House. And I was really intrigued because the series, I've been told, is nothing like the book. So I started audio listening to the book and I was like, wow. And then I saw the documentary about Shirley's life, and I also found out that she has a movie. She's a fascinating individual, and she shares the same placement as Jeanette, and she also had a very difficult connection with her mother. So I will create on my thespiritualsocial.com website, I will create an article in which I will look into the birth charts of Jeanette and Shirley, because what unites them is living with very difficult mother figures. So this being said, you may not necessarily have some sort of childhood hang-ups with the mother. I'm sure that most of you grew up with more than good enough mothers. I'm sure that most of you were nourished and protected and sheltered by them. I was too, to a certain extent. I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, you may have some hang-ups with the father figure. So I've opened this reading to any sort of messages that want to come through. I want to introduce to you now the options that I have here in front of you. The moonstone is calling me. I thought of giving you a choice of some animals that I have collected. I'm collecting these toys because, first of all, I really love animals. I love to donate to associations like the World Wildlife Fund, and they sent me these puppets, after I donate some money to them. These are part of their endangered species collection, and I'm going to use all of the animals that I have collected to donate them. In December for Christmas, I will gather as many of them as I can, although they are so adorable. It's going to break my heart to part with them, but I'm sure it's going to make children much more happier to play with them and to just have a little bit of hope and light and cuddliness and coziness. It's so important to have a connection with a cuddly toy when you are little. It's so emotionally stabilizing. So I hope to contribute to this. So that's why I have so many toys. I think I explained this in the introduction to one of my previous videos, but for some of you who have just clicked on this reading and you have no idea why I have so many plush toys, that is the purpose. I love plush animals. I love animals in general. I love to support big organizations that help endangered species, and I'm just gathering this collection so I can donate it for Christmas to children in need, orphans. I will see around that time what organization I will pick to make the donation towards. If you feel like you want to help, if you have some unloved toys lying around the house, feel free to send them my way, and we'll clean them up. I'll arrange them and I'll put them into the donation bag. Anyway, all this being said, This introduction is long enough as it is, but I'm going to take my time because time is important. When we slow down, we get deep into the healing work. Healing means on a deep level slowing down, reaching a point of stillness and being happy with the slowing down. So just as a heads up for those of you who are a bit more impatient and you're more accustomed to like TikTok level of the delivery of readings. Those are fun too, but this is something different. We're slowing down on my channel. Okay, so for you group 1, I have here this adorable otter, yeah? So this is Oli the Otter for you guys, yeah? If you feel drawn towards Oli the Otter and this amazing muzzle, then this is your pile. For you group 2, now please excuse me, I have no idea if this is an alligator or a crocodile. I'm sure that those of you who may be studying zoology or who have a passion for these types of animals, reptiles especially, can let me know down in the comments. I remember that when I got this toy, this one was bought from a supermarket. They said it was a crocodile, so I'm just gonna go with crocodile, okay? But please excuse me if this is an alligator and I'm messing up the species. God forbid I would do that. Anyway, we have here Coco the crocodile. Yeah, so this is for you, group 2. I love the green color that it has. I remember when I got it from the supermarket, the lady, the cashier there, she had such a blank expression, like I guess because of the routine of just, you know, checking items for our customers. But then all of a sudden her face lit up and she started smiling when she saw the toy and she said, oh, I love them so much. Aren't they the cutest? I just love this new collection that the supermarket brought in. And she just lit up, like her inner child came out and interacted with my inner child just by the simple fact that I picked up this toy and I put it in my supermarket basket, right? And she picked it up and she scanned it, and you know, like little things like this, right? You know, adults are constantly shamed for playing around with toys, you know, but in certain contexts, you know, toys can be deeply healing. Therapists can use a lot of these dolls and puppets in order to heal the wounded inner child of an adult. So yeah, it's not shameful if you have a knack for toys or if you use toys to heal yourself. Now, we also have here another disclaimer. We also have here for you, group 3, we have a shark. And this is awesome because so rarely do I see a shark as a toy for kids and depicted in such a beautiful way. So this is Sascha the shark, for those of you who are drawn to more aquatic themed animals, or in this case, mammals, I would say. Okay, and for you, group 4, you have here, I think this is the superstar in the spiritual community. You see wolves everywhere, wolf animal spirit, wolf descriptions, you know, like sometimes in twin flame readings you hear a lot about wolves and bears, but this wolf, yeah, this wolf is special. It's a Carpathian wolf. It's a species that is becoming fast endangered in the Carpathian Mountains here in Romania, and yeah, I'm really happy to contribute a little bit, as much as I can, to help the wolves in the region. So this is for you, group 4. If you are drawn to this impossibly cute, and it looks like he has some eyeliner as well, wolf, yeah, this really cool wolf, then this is for you, yeah? Okay, so take a moment now to have another look at them, maybe in silence. I'm gonna keep quiet for 5 seconds and look at which of these animals pulls you in the most. Okay, well, if you have made your choice, then I am going to stop blabbing and I'm going to see you at your specific pile. If you're curious about the books I just showed you, the tarot and oracle decks I have here organized in front of you, feel free to check in the description box. There are so many links for you. You can also get a more in-depth specific reading for you personally. If there are some things that maybe this reading kind of inspires you to think about, if you need more help, more coaching from me, I can help you with that, okay? So feel free to consider that as well. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, guys, because I have readings there. I show you a lot of different tarot and oracle decks, a lot of behind the scenes. I just recently unboxed the witching kit that I received as a present from one of my lovely subscribers. So yeah, lots of fun stuff to do. On TikTok, I also have small readings, so make sure to take advantage of all the ways you can get in touch with me. Okay, enough said. Let's jump straight in and find out what type of inner healing does your wounded inner child need. Hi group 1, welcome to your inner child healing reading. So this is for those of you that were drawn to Oli the Otter. Okay, otters are incredibly loving, strong builders. They're very family oriented. They love to protect their young. They're also very sweet-natured mammals, yeah? They're ingenious as well. They figure out ways and they come up with creative solutions to their problems. So maybe this characterizes you as a personality. I'm going to put Oli over here. Let's see, maybe over there, so that you can see her or him or it during the reading. Now, let me show you the cards that I have here for you. So I can see here stability and attainment, the 10 of crystals. You actually got the alligator. Maybe you need to listen to Coco the Crocodile's reading after this. You have the ace of shells, we have a tortoise, and this is happiness, abundance. Okay. We have here the hermit, number 9, the koala. The keywords are contemplation and wisdom. Okay. You also got here, oh, I see. It's this one. It's the 4 of swords. Then we have the 8 of swords. And we have the 5 of swords. So many swords. Ouch. You may have grown up in a household where there was frequent fighting, shouting, arguments, or just people speaking over each other. There may have been some radio, television, always in the background. We have here the canary spirit. So we see here, sing your own song. Okay. Music could be supremely healing for you. We have the chickadee. And the keywords are: the time is right to release old patterns and energies. You are ready to embrace change. Welcome to this reading. I hope it's going to trigger you into a beautiful new chapter of your life. We have here the osprey. The keywords are: your success is now at hand. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. Well, I feel that if you're going to do this inner healing, there is nothing that can stop you in terms of your growth and your wealth. But let's see, the final 2 cards are advice from the therapists. And I see here, I am a work in progress, and that is okay. And I also see here, oh, the voice that tells you that you aren't good enough apparently doesn't know you at all. You are amazing. Oh. And that's very true. You are amazing, group 1. I hope you know that. I hope you can tell yourself this and you won't smirk or go like, yeah, right. I hope you won't be sarcastic with yourself. You may start laughing. Laughter is always good. Laughter is always healing. But say it until you believe it. You are amazing. Maybe even write it on a little piece of paper and stick it to your mirror. I don't know, someplace where you look very often. Attach it to your phone. Get a wallpaper with "you're amazing" on your wall. It's not something bad to give yourself compliments and to tell yourself that you are an amazing individual, because you are. Now let's see what may make you find it hard to believe this. That was a weird way, grammar wise. Anyway, Mercury is retrograde. Please allow me some poetic license. I see here very strongly that you are very tempted to hide away from the world. You were definitely brought up in a household filled with strife. verbal strife, verbal abuse, verbal arguments, words being thrown in a disarray. It was a stable, traditional household, but it was one in which you may have felt like you couldn't get your point across. You couldn't express who you are. You may have had a stammer when you were little, and it was always very hard for you to get off your chest what you wanted to say. There could have been at least one of your parents pressuring you to speak up and say what you mean and say it fast and what do you want, and you know, like all of these kind of like pressurizing sentences may have been said. I feel like you were allowed your alone time. I feel like you were, and you still are, an individual that has a very rich imaginative inner world. With the Hermit and the Four of Swords, I feel like you're happiest when you're by yourself, you know, because it's quiet, it's still. You may be a person that's quite sensitive to loud voices and like screaming and angry outbursts. These are not your cup of tea. You are not comfortable with this kind of display of emotion. I feel most of you are introverted who chose this pile. I feel like you just want a quiet, happy, calm life. I feel like you're a creature of habit as well, but you're very determined. Your inner child, I feel like your inner child is this kind of a child that was incredibly intelligent but was not allowed to show this intelligence in the household. With the Ace of Shells here, it's like you carry this inner flood of emotion inside of you, but it's hard to put it into words because you hear a critical inner voice that mocks you all the time. It's like whenever you want to do something, it's like, no, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. You know, people will laugh at me. I cannot do this. You're not even going so far as people will laugh at me. You're just blocking yourself. You're self-sabotaging your chances of truly communicating with others what you feel, because in the past when you did it, you were punished for it, or you were neglected, or nobody listened to you. You were rushed a lot when you were a child. Your inner child was kind of like constantly frantic and trying to absorb information from so many different areas. I feel like this may have been a household where like there was a lot of mayhem. Yeah, it's like the mother was cooking in the kitchen and shouting at the father that was in the living room playing the TV really loud, and maybe you had siblings and they were also like screaming or playing computer games and shouting at each other, and you were like in the middle being overly stimulated by everything, like a sensitive individual going like, just please shut up, silence. I feel like many people around you may have mocked you for your desire to be still, quiet, and in your own little world. Like they may have thought you are a freak, or why do you want silence and stillness? That's like death. Like what? You know, what's wrong with you? But there's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. You are amazing, okay? Need I reiterate? You are amazing. Like the cartoon honk. Sorry, I can't do honks. Anyway, I'm sure we're going to keep repeating the sentence until it sinks in deeply, because your inner child needs to hear these compliments. I feel like you were under-complimented when you were little. Like even in moments when you're doing really cool things, when you were behaving well, or you got good grades, or you came up with a really amazingly imaginative story. Even in those moments, it's like you were easily brushed off, or yeah, sure, okay, fine, whatever. So a constant sense of distraction. And the paradox is that you have quite a sensitive ear. Like your hearing could be very good, but it's just that you grew up in these circumstances where your hearing was challenged. So you may have Mercury conjunct Saturn. You may have Mercury in Capricorn. I'm also getting here somebody with a moon in Virgo, moon conjunct Mercury, moon conjunct Mars as well. A person that has these kind of like militant feelings, militant emotions. They were constantly pushed or rushed or criticized, and it's kind of like the criticism was not extreme disrespect. It was just enough to irritate you, but also it kind of made you feel like you should always be better in order to please mom and dad. It's like, if only I can be perfect just like mom and dad wants me to be, I will be doing well, you know, I will succeed at this, I'll finally have my peace and quiet, they'll finally acknowledge me and compliment me. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's not that they were like trashing you verbally or saying awful things, you know. It's more like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Come on, hurry up, chip chip, you know. And you were never like, it was a lot of like negative reinforcement, but it was very little positive reinforcement. Like, it's almost like you didn't know when you were doing something good or bad. It was like you constantly expected the parent to kind of punish you or shout at you or correct you in some way. So you grew up not really knowing your strengths. Yeah. And I could feel like all of a sudden my throat clenched. Maybe for some of you I touched a chord here because I feel like it's a sensitive subject. You know how sometimes our throat gets dry right before we start crying, or when something really emotional, you know, a chord was struck. Yeah, one of our vocal cords was struck. But coming back to some of your strengths, I feel very strongly here that you are musically talented. If you're not necessarily active in the world of music, like a singer-songwriter, I feel like you could be an excellent dancer, or you could be a great lyricist, or you're just very good at making playlists for people. Like, you could be really good DJing at a wedding. You could make very good choices for people. Like, I'm sure that you are a good character reader, you know, like you read people's personalities quite well, mostly because instead of expressing yourself and learning who you are, you spend your childhood kind of like observing other people, and especially other people's tension points and escalation. So you're very sensitive to when a person is very close to flying off the handle, or when a person is very close to doing something that they will regret. You can sense these things. It's like you feel them. It's like, oh my God, there's a violent episode coming. I'm gonna get ready for it, you know? Or there's gonna be some shouting. I can feel it. It's coming. There it is. Ah, okay, good. Trauma. So I also feel that sometimes, because some of these things may be parked in your shadow, you are not aware of your own aggression. That's very common when a person was raised in such a household, because you were taught that what is aggressive, it's out there and it's not me, because you had to protect yourself. You created this ego of, I'm okay, I'm silent, I'm still, this is gonna pass, this is gonna be okay. But you grew up, and I feel like you are maybe unconsciously acting out these kind of like passionate energies on other people. Maybe when people provoke you, or when people are trying to mess with your boundaries, there's this, you know, like the animal inside of you. Yeah, the otter is coming out. I mean, otters are not really great predators, but I see very clearly that there is this alligator here, right? There is this kind of a stealth-like behavior that is clamps, you know, all of a sudden. So in spite of the cute and slow and sweet and intelligent and wise demeanor, you do have, you know, a bit of a bite to you. And this bite comes up out of nowhere, and it shocks people, just like a person would be shocked to see somebody else being dragged under all of a sudden by an alligator, right? And you could feel a lot of shame when you notice this, or when other people tell you this. You could immediately dissociate or say something like, no, that's not me. Pfft, that's my family. I would never do that. God forbid. Oh my God, you know? So you're kind of distancing yourself from this, but these are aspects of your own shadow that you need to, I should hold the cards more here. Your own shadow that you need to become aware of. Yeah. So you could be reproducing some of these violent behaviors. I'm not saying that you are exactly like your parents, but you need to somehow come to terms with the fact that you are a human being and that you're still a work in progress. You don't have to be perfect anymore. Hopefully, most of you are no longer living with your parents in the same household. If you're still living with them, I would highly recommend that you consider an alternative living arrangement. A lot of you could try to talk yourselves out of it. But there are options, there are ways, there are many different ways in which you can live away from your parents, because you're only blocking your growth, you're only stunting your development if you are not proceeding forward. You're only engaging in these arguments with them, maintaining yourself in this kind of like unhealed inner child, right? And you could be enacting certain childish behaviors that you're not aware of, because your shadow will only grow bigger the more you stay in this environment. In the happy case in which you are outside of the living environment with your parents, I see that you are able to create a lot of wealth on your own. I mean, you have such a rich imagination, you have rhythm, you know exactly when to launch something, when to come up with an idea. Because you're such a good judge of character, you can be an excellent counselor or coach, a person that could work in public relations and understands kind of how you can approach certain people in what circumstances, when to give a gift, for example, when to talk to a person about a difficult subject, how to let go of a person at work. You know how to do these things with compassion, with intelligence. Like, you don't just go and do it brashly and then, oh, we have problems, why is that? No, you're like, we have to be a bit more sensitive about this, we don't want to burn all of our bridges. You understand this, and you're only going to get better at this, and you're only going to attract more wealth and work opportunities towards you with this. So I'm here to let you know that if you're afraid of living the family circumstances, please just jump into the unknown, because wealth is coming your way, my love. You may have a moon conjunct Saturn, so a lot of fears related to how am I going to survive in the world without the abusing mother. You will, trust me, you will. From one moon conjunct Saturn to another, you're gonna make it, don't worry. And it's actually you taking that bold leap forward and seeing that strangers can be kinder to you than your own parents. That's going to be a real shocker in your life, but it will be the stepping stone to you opening up socially and healing. So in certain cases, your chosen family is much, much better for you than your biological family. So I see that in order to heal your otter spirit, the otter is your animal spirit, I see that you need love and affection. And in order to do so, you need to detangle yourself from these really verbally violent and loud and annoying and obnoxious family dynamics. You need to be able to speak your truth. Even if you're afraid of punishment coming your way, because sometimes we have these ghost feelings, like, as I like to call them, it's like, I want to speak my truth, but then all of a sudden I hear my mother shouting at me and I can't, I freeze. But I really want to put into words what I feel. There's a deep need inside of me to express myself. So you're going to have to, you're going to have to put this voice in your head to rest, like stuff it down. Stop allowing it to take your power away from you and risk yourself, make some bold leaps into the unknown and, release the old and begin with the new. Tell yourself, each day is a new moment to recreate yourself. Tell yourself, today is going to be the day in which I'm going to experiment with my communications. Today I'm going to be a scientist. And I have my sample A, my friend, sample B, my coworker, sample C, my sibling. And I'm going to tell them exactly what I feel, okay? And I'm going to use I sentences. And if they react weirdly to me, I'm going to take down notes like a scientist, and I will make my conclusion at the end of the day after I experimented with all three subjects, all three, with my control sample. Anyway, Sorry, I just wanted to lighten up the atmosphere a little bit. Some of you could be working in research, so don't worry. I feel like it's so important for you to know that it's nothing scary to go out into the world and to try to socialize with people. And if weird things happen, it could be mostly because there is this fear, there is this nagging voice. But you are a work in progress, and that's okay. You don't have to be perfect for anyone. I'm really sorry if you grew up in a place in which you felt like you had to be perfect in order to be loved. That is big BS with capital letters. You just have to be. That's all. You just have to be. You're already here. You're alive. You're kicking. Great. Go and have fun. Okay? Make friends. Love. Easy. Okay, on this note, one of my cats, Noah, he just slammed into the front door. Why, baby? I guess it's the end. It's like a gong, when you strike the gong, this is the end of your reading. I hope that you can go out into the world and ask for affection and allow other people to give you affection, because that's exactly what your inner child needs in order to heal. Affection. You need to have stillness, quiet, and peace. And from that stillness, quiet, and peace, allow your soul reveal to you who you really are. You are love. Love. You are the energy of love and warmth. And you need to exude this, infect other people with it, and allow other people to come and give you a hug and help you out, okay? You need to rely in this lifetime more on the comfort and kindness of strangers than you may need to do on your own family members, especially in terms of seeking advice from them. Okay. And it's a sure indication that if Noah started zooming out, I should end your reading here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're having a wonderful rest of your day, and please give this video a like as well and subscribe if you're new to my channel, and I cannot wait to see my next one. Ciao. Hey group 2, welcome to your pick a card reading on inner child healing. So this reading is for those of you who are drawn to Coco the crocodile, that has this incredibly beautiful green coat and cute face. So crocodiles, right? Interesting, because they appeared as a theme in group 1's reading, so maybe you're watching both of them, in which case I'm really happy that you are enjoying my readings, that you're hanging out with us for longer. That was Romanianism, asta cu noi, which is like sitting with us. Anyway, maybe you're Romanian, okay? So that's my first clue. You're a person that has some hidden bite, yeah? Crocodiles are stealth. They are predators. So you're dealing here with somebody who is, you could be quite intimidating, okay? You know that people shouldn't mess with you. But you are also quite self-preserving and self-protective. It's like a part of you knows that you had to develop this personality in order to survive. You may have been brought up in some very tough environments. There may have been violence, danger, scarcity, poverty in the region where you grew up. And you had to develop this really thick, almost not thick skin, but like an armor, right? You had to have this armor, like this reptilian skin, and you had to show no sensitivity, but inside you're very soft. Yeah, you can be very soft and romantic when the situation requires it. You protect your young, but at the same time, if somebody messes with you, you calmly prepare for an attack. Yeah. Yes, you're very well prepared. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be your enemy. Okay, so I'm gonna put the animal someplace here so you can see it. It's actually not an animal. I'm sorry. It's a reptile. So yeah, I'm also reminded of the fact that, you know, crocodiles are some of the oldest descendants of life forms here on Earth. They are said to share a lot of genetic material with dinosaurs. So it could be that you are feeling like you're a very wise old soul in this incarnation, like you feel burdened by life and responsibilities as well. So that's another intuitive message that came through. But now let's see the cards that you got. So we have here, oh, the Traveler. We have here the Impala, if I'm not mistaken. This is the equivalent of the Fool card. Adventure and potential. Yeah, this is a lifetime for you when you're learning things from scratch. You're beginning again. Wow. And what begins also must come to an end. The world. We see here the whale. We have fulfillment and celebration. Some of you could have gained some weight in the last period. You may be feeling quite heavy. Some of you have been, for a very long period of time, quite chubby. But this is more about metaphorical weight. It's sometimes, you know, how our bodies put on weight sometimes in an effort to, first of all, protect themselves from the environment in which they are. So some people actually feel like they need to become more stronger, more massive. They need to have more body mass in order to look more threatening in an environment that is attacking them. And others put on emotional weight. You know, there are a variety of ways why people put on weight, but I see that weight here is a big issue in your life. I feel like it could have something to do with feeling protected, could have something to do with trying to self-soothe yourself, and food can be a way to do that, because on a deep psychological level, food is love, food is nourishment, and that speaks volumes to the relationship that we have to the caregiver that feeds us. Most of the time this is a mother, this is a woman. Not in all cases, but the majority of cases. So yeah, fulfillment and celebration. I do see here some positive energy in your future. So we have here the 9 of Acorns. Wow, talk about intimidation, talk about stealth energy and being a really keen observer. Yeah, 9 of Acorns, we see here power and perseverance, and we have the Panther. Wow. Oof, oof. I also see here the Hierophant. Yeah. We have as well the 4 of Cups. And the Queen of Pentacles. Some of you may have been born as an earth sign. I see here Taurus energy very strongly represented, confirmed by the Hierophant. Yeah, but you could be also a Virgo or a Capricorn. Also a Scorpio. I'm getting some Scorpio energy here. Maybe you have a combination of water and earth energy in your chart. Let's see. We have the Ostrich, and the keywords are: the choice is clear for you now. Follow the wisdom and truth you feel in your heart. I also see here with the Goose, your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. I don't know why, but the Goose also reminds me of Grey Goose, which is a type of liquor. So yeah, there is something here about maybe some alcohol issues that have been passed down in the family. They may be interfering with the weight. Yeah. There could be a little bit of the energy of paranoia. You could have had a parent that was incredibly afraid of the social world, right? Afraid of other people, constantly on alert against other people. It could be because they were hitting the bottle, and this made them incredibly sensitive to their environment, but it also made them delusional and a little bit irrational. So an unpredictable parent, a parent that may have taught you certain very weird, skewed beliefs about the social world, that it's you against the world, that people always want to take advantage of you, that you should always be on guard, which I think is very detrimental, because this is raising somebody with a lot of anxiety, right? You have to exist in the social world. There is no way around it, right? We are here. We are many of us. We have to find a way to get along, right? So there is no such thing as you against the world. It's you in the world, and you have to survive in it somehow. and in the best case is thrive in it, right? That's what we want. We want to thrive. But I see here a parent that definitely had some sort of issues. I see here somebody that could have an eye defect. Yeah, maybe you were born with a certain eye problem that had to be corrected and improved, or a parent was blind to the situation, blind to your needs while you were growing up. You may have also been blocked from seeing certain things that happened, but you knew what was happening. I see here as well dragonfly spirit. Yeah, so truth transcends illusion. Somebody in your family gaslit you from a very young age. Like they took advantage of your naivety. They made you believe that whatever they were doing that was wrong, it was your fault. I'm so sorry. This is terrible because it helps. In some way, maybe it helps, but if you grow up with a parent that you can never trust what they say, that you have seen several times that you put your trust into them, they lie to you or they try to blame you for their own bad behavior. And if this happens once or twice or 3 times, 4 times, then all of a sudden you're like, I'm detaching, because an intelligent mind will do that. I'm detaching. I can no longer trust this parent. I will no longer listen to what they say. So all sorts of behavioral problems start to happen because you can no longer listen to your parent. You can no longer follow their authority because you know that they've been just feeding you lots of crappy things. So you may have had certain encounters with people in positions of authority like police or lawyers or judges or people at school, at university, that were clashing because you find it very hard to listen to people who lie to you. So first of all, you have this energy of constantly scanning people, whether they're telling you the truth or not. And then if you feel like they're not telling you the truth, you're constantly disobeying them, constantly kind of like rebelling against them. The Hierophant here comes with a blessing. I mean, the Hierophant is always this energy that gives, It's always this energy of, I can baptize you, I can rescue you, I can give you a second chance. And I see here with the Fool card, with the Traveler, some of you could have been born with your Sun conjunct Moon, which means you were born on a new moon. So this is a lifetime of trying new things out and seeing what happens, seeing what sticks, throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's a lifetime of independence as well, like fierce independence, like nobody's gonna mess with my freedom. Usually people that have this combination, Sun conjunct Moon, are very hard to settle into firm commitments. They're very hard to love as well because they have this need of don't fence me in, and they push people away, So you need to have a lot of patience with them. But I feel like you're going to be given many opportunities to let go of mistrusting people, to mend broken bridges. I feel that some of you, if you have some sort of eye defect, you can cure it in this lifetime, either with like LASIK eye surgery or by doing some sort of like muscle exercises, exercising the muscle around your eyes. I did that when I was little. I was born cross-eyed and I had like a pirate's clamp on my tiny communist kid glasses. I still have my tiny pair of glasses created in a factory in communist Romania. I just loved them so much. I had such a tiny head back then. And yeah, I had to go and do exercises, for my eyes in order to look straight at somebody. So it could be something like that. It could just be an aesthetic defect. It doesn't have to be something really deep, but I can see here that you can rescue yourself from this physical karma. You carry a lot of karma in your body. The body is kind of like a battleground for you. A lot of the beliefs that you were brought up to think, they are at odds with who you are. You may have been brought up in a family that was quite settled on a set of rules, like you are a boy or you are a girl and you can only be that. But maybe you want to be transgender, right? Or something in between that has no definable gender, right? And you're clashing. Like a lot of the times when you have these impulses to break away from what you have learned in your own family, it's like you punish yourself by overindulging in rich foods or eating too much candy and like maybe drinking a bit too much or smoking too much, when in reality all you need to do is kind of resolve this conflict and kind of understand you're an adult right now. Most of you, I hope, are an adult watching stuff on my channel, but it's kind of like I'm grown now. I can do whatever I want. That doesn't mean destroying yourself, you know? It just means being brave enough to say, you have no power over me, mom and dad, you know? Your ideas have no power over me. And I'm going to live my truth. I'm no longer going to be thirsty and hungry and dissatisfied. I'm no longer gonna be somebody who I'm not, right? I mean, look, this cat is drinking from a fish paper cup. This is not a tenable situation. The paper is going to soak up all that water, so the cat will very soon have nothing to drink and very soon the water is going to completely dissolve the paper, and it will also be that the cat will have nothing to drink from. There are structures in your life that are melting, and your inner child is saying, I want to love my body. I want to love myself just how I am, you know? If I'm a little bit chubby, if I'm a little bit too on the skinny side, if I'm a boy or a girl or something in between, F it, I need to love myself. I'm tired of, you know, constantly being told I am overweight or underweight. I see overweight here as a big issue. I'm tired of being told I'm a coward if I want to do this or that, or if needing to hide away from your parents in order to be who you are, to keep everything a secret, right? Because that's the other meaning of, you know, this 9 of acorns and the crocodile animal spirit, right? It's kind of doing everything low-key, like hiding everything, keeping everything under wraps, you know, putting yourself in the proverbial closet and like not showing the world who you really are. But you're blessed. I see that the universe is saying, hey, we have given you these gifts. What are you doing? You know, you may have had a tough childhood, which I think is part of your karma, but you are out of this mind maze in which one parent at least, and I'm picking up very strongly, was the father. The father could have had some paranoid delusions. I'm not saying that your parent necessarily was indulging or having some sort of mental health issue. I don't think you can indulge in a mental health issue, but they were indulging certain delusions occasionally when they were maybe hitting the bottle. Yeah. So it's not necessarily that your parent had this long-standing, very difficult mental health issue. For some of you, maybe this is the case, but I think that for the vast majority of you, you had an angry parent, right? That was using alcohol as a way to decompress emotionally, maybe shouting at the television screen that aliens are coming to attack the planet, that, you know, what you've learned in school, you were lied to, all these like conspiracy theories, you know, like that people are evil and they're looking through your peephole. And, you know, I'm not saying that evil doesn't exist in the world, of course it does, but it's like constantly living under this threat, or having this threat suddenly manifest in your parents' life whenever they were disrespecting their body and poisoning their mind. That's not reality. That's not the truth. That's not love, right? So letting go of this mind maze. You see, the Queen of Pentacles is taking her paw out of this maze. She's on top of it. She's no longer inside of it like a scared child, right? You did what you had to do to survive in that family, but now that you're a grown person, I hope that this reading is helping you become aware. This is the first step. The most important step is the, aha, I get it now. And once you do that, the next step is going to be changing certain things by making decisions in your life, decisions that are helping you empower yourself. Like, Okay, I understand. I was gaslit by one of my parents. What happened, it wasn't my fault. One of my parents, especially I'm seeing here the father, could have had these delusions, and I was falling under this prey of these delusions because I loved my parent like any normal child does, right? Now that you're outside of that situation, you're grown, you have perspective, you have a certain detachment. Now you're better able to make decisions. It's like, if my parent thought that the world was sick and unsafe, I don't really feel like it is. I've traveled, I've made friends all over different cultures. I've loved somebody, I've gotten a job, and I saw that I have coworkers. Some of them are nasty, others are really okay. You know, so you can create your own understanding of the world, no longer having to fall under this mindset that, oh gosh, everything is terrible, right? So I haven't given you the therapist cards. I feel this is the moment, the right moment in your reading to give them to you. Look at everything you have survived so far. You weren't defeated then, you won't be defeated now. This is so cute. I think this is a chinchilla, right? And it's pink. So you won't be defeated, okay? If you feel that you were engaged in certain power dynamics, you know, you constantly had to struggle and kind of like push for your self-affirming energy in your family, or that you were always at odds with what your parents were saying. I'm seeing here an inner child that was blocked in their freedom. Like, even like parents were constantly like holding you when you were trying to run around or have fun or express yourself, right? It's like they constantly may have blocked you or controlled you physically. So I think you grew up with some parents that had delusions. I think you grew up with a parent that was incredibly controlling, like physically controlling you. Maybe because you just wanted to be a child and run around and play. And I'm sure that the controlling parent that may have restrained you was thinking that they are protecting you from your own self. But I think they did it to such an extent that now you are having issues really feeling comfortable in your own body because you are so restrained, right? You may have been put into tight clothing that didn't match your body, shoes that constantly were beating your toes and your like soles, and maybe stuff that you didn't want to wear. It was uncomfortable. So repairing your relationship to yourself and looking above the mental maze of received knowledge that you got from your parents is going to be the way in which you are going to heal your inner child. Going out into the world, traveling, seeing life for what it is, meeting people from all over the world, and just being bolder, braver, you know? That's what's going to heal your inner child as well. Like, I feel like some of you may look at flights and you may be thinking, I've always wanted to go to Mexico, you know, but then you hear your father or your mother's voice in your head and it's like, oh, it's full of criminals, don't go there, which is gross. Like, I don't even know how to say it, overstatement. It's just like, it's a gross prejudice, better said, right? First of all, because Mexico is a huge country and you will not find the same kind of things in one region that you will find in another region. And violence exists everywhere in the world. Hey, it can happen in your neighborhood. It can happen in your own building, right? You are capable of violence as well. So keep those things in mind, you know. Don't allow received prejudices to block you from pressing the buy button on those flight tickets and just going there on a holiday with your parents, you know, or if they don't want to come, if they're still scared, go with some friends, go with some coworkers, you know, go alone. Why not? Have an adventure, right? Traveler. That's what's going to heal your inner child. And the last card I have for you, I'm keeping the best for last. Life will always bend you, but trust me, you are too strong to break. Okay, so this is the cosmic reindeer. We also have here the pink chinchilla. And these are your messages, yeah? You will not be defeated. No matter how much people challenge you, you will always rise up again. Yeah? I think I'm gonna end it on this beautiful note. You will not crack. You are too strong. And you will not be defeated, okay? Please don't self-sabotage yourself, because I feel that you are running the risk of being your own worst enemy. So, my beautiful group 2, I hope you have enjoyed this reading. Remember to give it a like. It helps out the channel. Comment. Please comment and share with me. Is this resonating in any way? Have I given you any tips and tricks and whatever? Have you picked up on certain clues from this? Tell me your story. I'd love to read it, okay? There is a safe space down there. I'll moderate it for any intrusive comments, and I just want you guys to kind of learn from each other. We have built such a beautiful community here, and I'll continue to moderate it and keep it in check, okay? So don't be afraid to share your thoughts. Yeah, I hope to see you in my next one. Feel free to get in touch with me for a personal reading if you want. You're not at all obliged to do that, but yeah, it may be helpful for some of you. And take care, okay? And go and explore. You're really gonna enjoy what you're gonna find, I guarantee. Maybe not all of it, but most of it is going to be a really beautiful adventure. Okay, see you next time. Mwah. Hey group 3, welcome to your inner child healing. Pick a card. So this option is for those of you who are drawn to Sascha the shark. Now, sharks, yeah, interesting. They're usually seen as the bad gal, the bad guy, yeah. So I feel like you have a reputation that may precede you. I feel like you frequently may have conflicts with people, or people feel a little bit threatened by you. You're a person that knows their power, yeah. You're very good at competitive, strategic, and I cannot speak. Maybe you speak many different languages, but anything that has to do with competition, strategy games, you're excellent at it. You can be a fierce opponent as well, much like group 2. But in your case, I feel like you're much quicker. There's an energy of being quite light on your feet, quite fast. You are also quite into the idea of brotherhood and sisterhood. I feel like you may have a group of friends, or you could have a number of social groups, so cute, that you are active in, and wow, so cute. Wouldn't you kind of let him bite you? No, I'm joking, of course. I feel like, yeah, you do have a bite, but mostly when you are being threatened, when you are feeling like depleted of resources or energy, there is a very fierce kind of survival instinct activating itself inside of you. I kind of feel like people misunderstand you very often. I feel like people see you as more dangerous than you really are. They tend to project their own dark energy onto you. I feel like you're more of a dolphin than a shark, but people see you as a shark. Like somebody that they shouldn't trust because you can easily scam them or steal from them or attack them when they least expect it, right? It's like people don't want to be vulnerable around you because they fear that you will take advantage of their vulnerability. Almost like you always portray this image of, I'm tough and rough and you should be too, you know? You may not do it consciously. This could be something that you do just because that's the energy you took on in order to survive in your culture, in your family, in your environment from a very young age. And there is an energy of, I'm proud of myself for having done that. You know, I'm proud of myself for having survived. You wouldn't let anybody tell you otherwise. Even if you may have done some things that are, in your view, difficult to stomach, you know that you had to do them in order to protect yourself. There may not have been another better option. Okay? You are very good at not rationalizing necessarily a situation, but it's more about coming to terms with what has happened. You're very good at accepting and owning up to what you have done that may not be so honorable. Let's just put it like that, yeah? If you stole another person's boyfriend or girlfriend, you know, you're like, yeah, I did it, so it happened, you know, stuff happens, people have desires. Or if you, for example, decided to quit a pregnancy, you know, you may be like, it had to happen. I had no way to support that child. That child would have been miserable. Next, you know, it's like, next thing, let's move on. Let's do something different. So yeah, you have a fighter spirit. I think that's the best way I could summarize it. You have a fighter spirit. But there is this energy that you put across that you may not be aware of, that you can be a little bit threatening and dangerous to certain people that may feel that you are too strong for them to bear. So I'm gonna put Sascha over here. Okay. So it can watch over us during the reading. And now let's jump straight into your cards. So let's see. Yeah, wow. The Empress. Woo! We have here the rabbit, beauty and abundance. Yeah, you're very good looking, okay? And a lot of people could feel threatened by that. The Magician. Yeah, the Crow. We have here willpower and creation. Some people think that you may be using dark magic to look beautiful, to attract wealth and abundance. They could feel like you put them under a spell and they don't like to be controlled. Obviously, nobody likes to be controlled, I would assume. Maybe some people that have a special kink for being controlled would enjoy that. But most of us like to be our own people, to be free, right? To make our choices, to live our lives. So we have here the Three of Shells. And look, I was talking about dolphins, right? We have here a shoal of fish, playfulness and bliss. Yeah. How do you call these? Is it a school of dolphins? Comment down below if you know. I know that there is a murder of crows. So, you know, animal groups. In English, they have such creative ways of naming them, right? Anyway, let's see your cards. Let's keep it moving. We have the Ace of Swords. Oh, I love this. Look at her face. It's like, I'm having my nails clipped and I don't like it. I see this face at least once every 2 weeks when I have to trim the nails of my 3 cats. Yeah, so... And I go through all of the sweats and all of the motions because I never want to hurt them accidentally. We have here the Chariot. This card is excellent. It's like just a cat in a very comfortable chair. And then we have here, oh, adorable. We have the Two of Swords. It's like, We have here the Starling. I also feel like you have a very good sense of humor. For some reason, I feel like laughing more in your reading. You're very playful. So we have here the Starling. The keywords are, now is the time to get out into the world and connect in authentic ways. We have the New Thatch. Stay grounded and welcome the new knowledge and perspective coming to you. One of you had a very overbearing parent, a parent that always wanted your attention. They could have had this issue with being a little bit of a hypochondriac, you know, le malade imaginaire, right? So I think one of your parents was always kind of like sensitive. It's like, oh, my head hurts. Oh, this part, it just doesn't allow me to go to work or to do the groceries today. Could you do them for me? You know, could you do this for me? Could you rub my feet? Could you bring my blanket? So it's kind of like you were responsibilized from a very young age, and this interfered with your capacity to make friends, right? To have time for the social world. You had to be kind of like the caretaker of one of your parents. Some of you had to do this because one of your parents has a disability. Maybe you were brought up in a single parent household and the main caregiver was in a wheelchair or had other issues using their hands and their legs, their feet. So in some cases this was necessary. In other cases it was more like a made up disease or like a lot of sensitivity, like you had a parent that was always super sensitive and needed a lot of care and attention, and this really interfered, right, with your capacity to go out into the world, make friends, be social and have fun. But I felt like you remained really grounded, very stable, very mature through it all. And I also feel like you develop this kind of like bad girl, bad boy side to you, almost as a prefabricated idea. In a second, we will get into this. There was some sort of character development here that happened. Let's see. We see here the dog spirit. Be loyal to what you love, okay? Issues with loyalty and betrayal. It's like not only were you responsibilized, but it seems to be that you were blocked from growing into your adolescence, into your puberty. Like you were doing quite well and you were very good looking. And I feel like one of the parents was in some way acting like the castrating parent, the narcissistic figure. It's like you were growing too well, too quickly, or too beautiful, too attractive. And just around the moment when you were going to connect with somebody, falling in love with somebody, there was a parent that completely like put an end to this. It's like clipped, right? It's like they clipped your dreams or clipped your wings. They chained you in some way. They pulled you in. It's like, no, you can't go out into the world and get married and have fun and have children and be adorable and good looking and oh my God, do you think you're better than me? So they devised these kind of hypochondriac issues or sensitivities, you know. It's like, my knee hurts when it's raining and other things like that, right? So you can't go out and get married to this person because who's gonna take care of me? So there seems to be here like a stunting of your growth. And you were doing so well. I feel like you were quite a popular individual. The Three of Shells here, it's about celebration, being popular, having friends, you know, partying, enjoying life. But you're a champ. You were like, you know what? I'm gonna sit and do what I have to do by this parent. And I think a part of you noticed that there was something weird going on. So again, I'm seeing two threads here. Some of you actually had a parent that either underwent a really tough diagnosis or some sort of accident. So they were disabled or they got sick all of a sudden on you as you were making your way through your adolescence. So you kind of had this stunted development where instead of going out into the world and doing what you had to do, you had to take on the burden of caring for your disabled parent, your sick parent, yeah? Others of you have a very overbearing, slightly narcissistic parent who is kind of coming up with all these excuses and sensitivities. Whenever you want to break away, whenever you want to do something independently, like I'm gonna get a job, or I'm going to move into my own place, or I'm going to elope with my romantic partner, it's like all of a sudden, a dagger to my heart. You know, theatrical, a very theatrical parent. Now, I'm no expert in diagnosing, but it could be Munchausen by proxy in certain cases, or a mild form of it. But in that case, it would be the parent trying to make you feel sick, right? There could be some projection here as well, you know. They may blame you, for example, if you leave me, I am, you know, you're going to end up just like me, and who's going to take care of you then? You know, something like that. It's like a lot of blame, the blame game, right? So it's like you're stuck in this period of, I mean, look at this. This is such frustrating energy. The Chariot is like, I want to go out into the world and be victorious and affirm myself. But at the same time, you keep being pulled back into these yawn dynamics, I would call them, which is like, what am I gonna do? My life has been postponed. What am I doing here? Am I living, or am I like in a state of constant suspension? Arrested development, exactly like in the series. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's about a dysfunctional family, but some of the things that happen to the main character are also things that he willingly kind of puts himself into, you know, because of these patterns that he grew up into. maybe you want to watch it, okay? I don't know why, but I feel the need to tell you that the guy who plays the leading character, oh God, what's his name? Bates? He also played in the movie This Is Where I Leave You. He was the lead character, and I really like him. He's a Capricorn sun, so maybe that helps you in some way. Maybe you have a sun conjunct Saturn, or you have a Capricorn sun, which means that yes, indeed, towards your path of growing and developing in life, you will constantly be thrown these wrenches in the system, right? These obstacles, these limits to your growth are gonna appear out of nowhere, right? Just when you think that life is okay and is set in order, all of a sudden another challenge comes in, right? You manage to take care of your parent, then you finally move in with your sweetheart cheats on you, you know? Or you manage to forgive your sweetheart, you manage to get married, you have a child, your child is born with some sort of genetic disease. Capricorns, oh my God, they are constantly under this kind of energy, like constantly needing to overcome limits, obstacles, separations, losses, on the path towards becoming who they are, right? But if they manage to do that, wow, legendary. They become the best of the best. So even if you're not a Capricorn or you have your Sun conjunct Saturn, I see that you're clearly an individual that is, first of all, physically very good looking, and unfortunately this worked against you because there was a lot of envy and jealousy in the environment in which you grew up in, from relatives, and especially from female relatives. I see you as an incredibly powerful individual, yeah? The magician. You can literally draw gold out of rocks, you know? Pull rabbits out of hats. You've got that je ne sais quoi, you've got that special charm. I feel like you are this kind of individual that can make other people money, you know, through your beauty, through your talent. Other people want to be around you because they see your marketability, right? But you may have been somehow blocked into believing that you are worth something because of a parent that is trying to stunt your growth. Again, I'm seeing here a pattern of like being convinced of something that is not real, right? Being told that, oh no, your friends, actually, they are not your friends. No, they're full of jealousy and envy. You're better next to your mama or next to your papa. Don't walk away. Don't try to be this incredibly successful, independent, beautiful individual. Why have your own life when you can help me live through you? By proxy, right? So in reality, I feel like there may have been a parent here that just filled your mind with lies. And they did it in a drip method, like each day saying a little remark here and there, dropping it, and you shrugged it off. You thought it's not important, but in time it accumulated, and now it's kind of a lot of anxiety and a lot of insecurities all of a sudden falling on top of you. And you stayed because you're loyal and because you're very loving, right? And you want to help. The dog here is like, yes, I want to help. Yes, how can I help? You know? But you need to develop your discernment and understand that sometimes you may try to help people that may be bad for you, and the people that you think are bad for you are actually quite good for you, like your friends, your fans, people that want to work with you, people that want to get you to sign contracts, you know. Obviously you need to be careful with them as well. Don't just launch into things like, yay, a tarot reader told me that I should trust people that get me to sign contracts, you know. Please read the fine print, yeah, especially now since it's Mercury retrograde. But there's a fine balance to be struck between going to the extreme of, yeah, I'm gonna trust everybody, my parents are awful, and actually I can't trust anybody, my parents are angels, you know. It's extreme thinking that is really hurting your chances of having success. You are meant to be successful. You're actually meant to be in the limelight. Yeah, the Chariot, the Empress here. Yeah, you're meant to create a lot of wealth. But be mindful whom you share this wealth with and how much of yourself you share. This is kind of like the Empress reminds me of that Linda Evangelista quote, you know, I never get out of bed for less than $10,000, you know? Like somebody that is like, I know my worth, okay? I'm not even gonna bother, I'm not even gonna sweat, you know, if it's less than the money I am owed. And you may think that that is arrogant, but it could also be genius. Think about it. Let's see the other card. So the therapist advice for you: you are strong, you are smart, and you got this. I'm also getting this message of a child that was taught to just be pretty or just look pretty. Even if you're a boy, even if you're a girl, maybe you were educated that, you know, looking good is your best asset. With the Empress here, it could be the negative side of Venus, the dark aspect of Venus, which is superficiality. Like, looks are everything. You know, look smacks your way through life and it's gonna be okay. But what happens when you go older? What happens when you get sick? Your looks are going to take a hit. Usually, most people's looks take a nosedive, you know, during such periods. Your body will change, your face will change. It's natural, it's part of the growth process, right? So what's going to happen then with your self-esteem, with your life, with your opportunities, if you only base them on your looks? And I think you're aware of this, but you haven't been told enough how much of a wonderful person you are on the inside, what your inner qualities could be, what your skills and abilities are. You know, maybe you're very good with maths. Nobody complimented that. You just need to look good, right? There could have been this pattern when you were growing up. You know, maybe you're very good convincing people to do your bidding. That's a skill. If you manage to do it without feeling like you're manipulating another person, if you're just convincingly getting your point across and the other person thinks, I'll think about it, this is interesting, you could be really good at pitching ideas, you know, in boardrooms. Or you could be a really good like counselor. You could be a person that negotiates very good deals. You could also be a very good politician. So you're strong. You have a lot of abilities that are dying to be explored, but you've been too focused on this physical aspect because you are controlled and manipulated by a parent that is, well, in some cases you were controlled and manipulated. In other cases, it was just life, right? Something happened and a parent needed you right at the ripest moment in your life. Although, to be honest, I can tell you, life can get incredibly good after 30, right? So maybe you haven't missed anything. Maybe you're just in a state of preparing for the best years of your life, right? We also have this card. I love this image. And we see here, you are a fighter, ever onwards. Onwards. Move on to the next thing, on to the next thing, right? So again, this is about that energy that I talked earlier with the Capricorn Sun example. Yeah, life will beat you down. It will stomp on your head, honestly, and you get up and move forward, you know? You will get sick, you will heal. You get up and you move forward. You will be betrayed. Separate from that person that betrayed you. You will cry your heart out. You will get up and heal and get going, yeah? You are going to be rejected a couple of times. You're going to fail at certain things. You get up and get going, okay? Because at other things you will succeed and other people will accept you. And just when you think that life got really bad, you are actually going to receive good news. And somebody's going to give you an unexpected gift, and somebody will say a compliment, and somebody will buy you a cup of coffee just because they could. And you're gonna start crying like I feel like crying right now in your reading, but it's gonna get better. There will be days when it will get worse and days when it will get better, and it's okay. Sometimes, especially when you're having a really difficult astrological transit, like Saturn or Pluto or Uranus are harassing you, maybe all three at the same time, like I am in this period, it's gonna be bad. And you just have to make the best with what you have and go slow, go really slow, and take breaks and express yourself and pray and write in your dream diary and talk to the people that can offer you help, and then get back to it. Climb on top of this. It's not a unicorn because it doesn't have the horn, but climb on top of this magical horse and fly away. So, what your inner child needs for healing. I'm definitely seeing here that you need to let go of superficiality and focus more on the skills side part of life. Find a hobby that you love doing it, do it until you become proficient at it, and make a career out of that. Do something you love, you're gonna be excellent at it. Practice, 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 okay? I also see here that on top of that, you need to understand that you are strong, you're not weak. You have been manipulated in the past, maybe naive, but that doesn't mean that this is your defining characteristic. It just means that you were loyal, you were loving, right? You gave people second chances, and that's wonderful. That's a sign that you are a strong person. And if other people haven't treated you like this, it's time to look for new people. Yeah? We live on a planet with 8 billion souls. 8 billion. You will find some people that will treat you at the same level at which you have treated people in the past, okay? You don't have to get stuck in uncomfortable situations just out of loyalty. Release. Release what is harming you and find out what you're really good at, because you are a smart, strong person, and you're a fighter. Ever onwards. Go on to the next adventure if this one is not your liking, okay? Okay, my beautiful sharky friends, this has been your reading. Thank you so much for listening. Comment below and let me know your story. I would love to read it. This is a safe space so you can express yourself, okay? I'll moderate the comments and the comments. I want to say commentary. I'll moderate the commentary. And write in my encyclopedia with my monocle. Anyway, I'll moderate the comments. It's Mercury retrograde. Sorry about my expressing English. And please like this video. It helps the channel a lot. And I'll see you next time. And take care. And bye. Ciao. Hey group 4, welcome to your inner child healing pick a card reading. So this is for those of you who are drawn to the wolf. Yeah, so I see here, first of all, I see here somebody with great hair. So this wolf has such a touchable fur. So you could have like a great mane, or your hair is something that stands out. You could style it in a really cool, interesting, eye-catching way. I also feel that, the wolf, I feel like you're a person who is very protective of your alone time, but at the same time you're fiercely loyal to the people in your family. I feel like you came to this reading almost on a dare. Maybe you feel that, oh, my situation with my parents in my childhood is all settled. I'm really curious to see what Lexi has to say about this, and I feel like you're ready to type in the comments something to disagree with me. I feel like, yeah, indeed, you're a person that is very passionate about the values that you have. The wolf as an animal spirit has been described in Kim Kranz's Animal Spirit Oracle as a dogmatic individual as well. So you could be quite militant about your ideas. If somebody doesn't agree with your political or religious beliefs, I think sometimes you can come across as very strong, as, kind of bulldozing the other person down with your idea. But you do it from a place of strong conviction and strong love. Yeah, so I feel like you're not coming from a mean place of genuinely attacking somebody. You're just very passionate about what you believe in and what you think. This is a very loyal animal as well, very determined, very protective as well. So I feel like you protect what you love. That's why you're so heavily caught up in this idea of, I defend my turf, I safeguard my boundaries and the boundaries of those that are entrusted to me in my care. You could be very good at protecting your family's heritage, speaking to ancestors, safeguarding their heirlooms and secrets. But this could be something that could have a consequence, like a negative consequence on your own self-development. You could prioritize the pack sometimes above your own interests and end up losing. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say. I'm gonna put this incredibly adorable wolf over here so that it looks like it's sleeping. So cute. Also, you could do your eyes very beautifully, because I'm so drawn to the fact that this replica, this wolf replica, looks like it has a really nice winged eyeliner. So you could have like a really beautiful eyeliner. It could be like your trademark. You could really make your eyes stand out with this special makeup skill. Okay, so let me arrange my table a little bit and let me show you the cards as well. So we have here the Two of Feathers, and this is the gecko. We have decisions and direction. I feel like you're a person that a lot of people come to for advice. A lot of people rely on your administrative abilities, on your capacity to delegate and to organize other people. You could easily be placed in positions of leadership. You could be often called even a little bit bossy. I see here the Page of Shells. So we see intuition and inspiration, the frog. The Seven of Crystals. We see options and results. The Anteater. Yeah, it's interesting because we already have like an amphibian and a lizard. It's kind of like you adapt to your environment, but you keep a cool distance. It's like you never lose control. And you're very good at sniffing out resources, right? Interesting. Okay, let's see the other cards. We have here the Eight of Coins. Yeah, hard worker. You put in a lot of effort into everything. Oh, the Two of Cups. Very loving individual who believes firmly in equality. And then we have here the Queen of Swords. So this is Aries. Maybe you have some Aries energy in your chart. But I also see here Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. Queen of Swords, somebody who has been through a lot of shit, right? And is able to, has created this defensive attitude, but is able to cut away also negative energies. You may have a chip on your shoulder though. Maybe people think that you're too aggressive or too defensive in certain cases because there is something here that is unhealed from the past. Somebody has insulted you or harmed you and you find it hard to move past that. Let's find out. So we have here the Blue Jay. The time is right to access and master your abilities. Do so with humility and control. We also see here the Owl. So your intuition is correct. Follow your inner wisdom without fail. Yeah, you are a person that is very knowledgeable. That's why people come to you for advice. But you could be doubting your capacities. Because the first card that we have here is the Two of Feathers. I feel like your childhood could have been very confusing. Like you received mixed messages from your parents. There was a lot of neglect hidden under the mask of a laissez-faire parenting attitude. Like, we are hobo parents, like we are hobo chic parents, sorry about that. Like, this trend of hippie parents, hobo chic parents, that's what I meant. you know, we don't like to control our children. We just allow them to grow like a flower that they are. But I feel like there could have been some neglect here, like they just allowed you to feed yourself, clothe yourself, take yourself to school, you know. Oftentimes you had to do their responsibilities for them while they were just recovering from a hangover or from partying or from extra socializing. I feel like you were raised by very wild parents, you know. You had to educate them, you had to impose certain rules, and you developed this very strong personality. And now I feel like it's detrimental in your personal connections. I feel like people see you as too controlling, or like, don't organize my life, you know, like it's hard for you to kind of take a step back and allow things to just happen, you know. When that happens, it gives you a strong bout of anxiety, indecision. It's like, ooh, what do I do now? No, I need to be in control. So sometimes you may cut away people that are good for you, you know. I'm reminded of that song by Charlie XCX. So I let the good ones go, right? So it's kind of that energy of, why do I always let the good ones go? Why do I feel the need to be in control all the time, to feel relaxed, psychologically speaking? And why do I feel the need to be so much on the defensive? I mean, the Queen of Swords is incredibly intelligent. She's well-read, well-educated. She's been through difficulties, and she managed to use her intelligent mind to overcome them. She's a good strategist. She's a good planner. She waits for the right moment to perform a power move and walk away, you know, like mic drop. Bye. But I feel like you don't have to keep doing this anymore. I feel like you can just allow yourself to love. You can allow yourself to flow freely through life, you know. You've been putting in so much work, so much effort, and it's time for you to just enjoy your plate of anchovies. Allow pleasure to happen in your life. You know, allow somebody to swoop you off your feet. It can be very sexy. It can be very invigorating, exhilarating. Yeah, exactly. You need to practice putting your trust into people that you select, that you feel drawn towards. Usually your first choice, your gut instinctive reaction, is the good one. The more you sit and think, the worse your decision is going to be. So don't worry, you are protected. I see here that you could have some very good relations with people that are American. If you're thinking of working with Americans or traveling, settling there, going there to study, yes, yes, yes. Spirit has your back. You're going to love it there. In some cases, your partner or your soulmate could be an American. Let me show you the Therapet cards. We have, you are doing enough, it's going to be okay. I can hear one of my supervisors when I was working in Oxford teaching. I just had this session with him one day, and the moment I walked into his room, he was just looking, he had this folder open with everything I had achieved in the last year when I was there, and he just looked like terrified at me, and he just said, slow down, slow down. And I took it like an insult. I was like, what? No, I can do more, I can be more, that's why you hired me. But it was actually something, you know, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, it was in my interest to slow down. He was actually saying something that was protective, yeah. Nobody needs to have such a colleague that intimidates everybody with how much they're doing. And you are going to feel the effects of the stress. I had irritable bowel syndrome for, I think, 6 months after I quit that job. It was so hard to get back into my body and into proper breathing, yeah, because I was so amped up on adrenaline and doing this and this and this and taking advantage of this opportunity and that. It was an exciting time in my life, and I'm only sharing this personal story because I think it fits very well with some of your energy. And it's the energy of a person that is trying to run away from certain deep feelings of sadness, melancholy, and occasional despair at not knowing what to do with themselves if they do not work, if they are not productive. It's like, okay, I decided to take a day off. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna sleep, I'm gonna travel, okay, but what else is there? And this is about allowing yourself ample space, clearing out your schedule a little bit so that love can manifest in your life, yeah? Yeah, it's a very familiar energy. I can empathize with that. I'm in the same boat. So we see here, you're gonna be okay. You're already doing too much, yeah? Again, as I mentioned with group 1, you just have to be here. You just have to exist, okay? Life doesn't have to be achievement after achievement after achievement. It doesn't have to be promotion after promotion, successful relationship, orgasm after orgasm, okay? It can be just bland and dull. You have some food. You managed to pay your bills this month as well. Good. You are already above a lot of the people in this world. So, you know, you're doing okay. You're doing really well. And much like that professor that actually was wise, and I was a little bit of an irritable coworker, slow down. Just slow down. Just smell the roses. You're doing great, okay? Don't do too much, because then you're not going to do so great. So, we have here, with every challenge you meet, you gain experience. Every day, you're leveling up. So, you could be seeing challenges in your life as blocks to your success, as uncomfortable things. Like, why is this happening to me right now when I was this close to achieving this thing? It's like, oh, right now my schedule is completely thrown out of balance. My carefully crafted daily routine. Why is this happening now? Well, this is your growth. This is the homework you should be focusing on. This is the success. The fact that sometimes you will fail. I know, it's paradoxical, but I see here very strongly that your inner child wants very much to please, wants very much to achieve, because it thinks that it will get the reward if I do this, if I put this effort, if I work myself into the ground, yeah? 8 of Pentacles, if I just stay silent and put my head to the grindstone, yeah? If I commit to this, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to be loved. I'm going to be adored. And maybe there were instances in the past when you achieved something and there was nobody there to compliment you. It was an achievement. Good. Okay. Oh, you want a pat on the back? Well, there's nobody there to give it to you, or something happened because it may have been that your stressed out energy pushed people away. Maybe you didn't want to push them consciously, but unconsciously you did it. Yeah, people were just like seeing the electric wire fence that was around you in your aura, and they were like, bzzzt, you know, I don't want to get electrocuted, so I'm just gonna stay away. So the way you can heal your inner child is just by slowing down and relaxing more and not feeling guilty for it. Yeah. You may have been conditioned. You know, you are being given food or something yummy to eat, or like the basic things that a parent should have provided for you. They were given to you as so-called rewards for good work. So you learn to work a lot for very normal things that should have been given to you. But I feel that because your parents were so laissez-faire, so wild, so neglectful in certain cases, you had to figure things out by yourself. You know, there was nobody there to show you how to do that. You just had to, well, make the best with what you have, you know. But you can let that go now, yeah. You are actually leveling up even when you're not doing much or achieving a lot. Even when you're going through bad days, right? Days when you shout at people, other people come at you with a lot of responsibilities. people just want money from you. They don't care about who you are as a human being. It's like, pay this bill, give me back this money, buy this thing that you don't need. So you will be overwhelmed sometimes. You will feel out of your comfort zone. You're not going to succeed at everything, but that's okay, because that just makes you more human, more lovable, a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit, gone through the battles of life, a little bit battle weary, with your war paint a little bit smudged off. And that's okay. You're still the brave fighter, but now you're a brave fighter that can allow love in, that is not so perfectly polished, that has a little bit of cracks in its armor, so that light can come through, so that love can come through. So you are doing enough. You're actually overdoing it sometimes, Trust that your child is going to love you. Some of you may have actual children. Trust that they're going to love you even if you don't decorate their room to the most minute detail. You don't have to make every day like a party and a celebration for your child so that they know that they're loved by you. You may end up raising a very spoiled brat. So be careful with that, because doing too much allows the other person to take from you and take your power, and they could become this really, like, you're projecting your inner child onto them, and they end up becoming like this spoiled child, this child that is me, and I want to do this from you right now. And you just oblige, and you go and you do this work, right? Because that's how you were educated, to put in a lot of effort to get even the most basic of attention, to get even the most basic of rewards. So you have to understand and admit certain things about your relationship to your parents, because I think some of you are a little bit in denial. You're like, no, neglect happened to other people, not to me, thank you very much. And that's also part of this armor of, I can do it, I'm the best, I can achieve this, bring me the next problem, I will solve it. And indeed, you're very good at solving problems, you're very good at achieving things, But you also need to learn that life isn't a competition, it's not a battle, it's not everything that happens is a threat towards you. Try to take things less personally, because it's okay to just exist, It's that wonder child that needed attention. The child that is like, Mommy, look what I did. And Mommy was not there because maybe she was passed out drunk in the bathtub, That's just a random example. It may not have happened to your parent. Maybe your parents were working 2 jobs, or their jobs were incredibly difficult and they came home and they just dropped into bed. So it doesn't have to be necessarily partying or drugs or alcohol or being hippie, and boho chic. No, it could just be the opposite. It could be like having to work 2 jobs and there wasn't time. There wasn't time for you and your needs, and congratulating you on your drawings, or, so you learn to take matters into your own hands. And you're doing it so well that you're doing too much. It's too much. You have to release a little bit the pressure. Take your foot off the pedal. And it's okay if you do that. Okay? Because you run the risk of hurting yourself when you are relaxing. You may think that, I need certain substances, I need certain liquids to relax with. No. You just need to reevaluate your relationship to what relaxation means, what rest really does to you. Because it's part of the process of giving you more strength so you can do even more. And if you don't rest properly, you are not going to be able to be at your best. If you can't relax, you will not be able to achieve all of the things you want in life. And especially if you can't relax, your social relationships will suffer. People will just walk away from you because, as I said, your aura, your energy, the vibe you're putting out there will be electric. So you want to cool off a little bit and become more alkaline, Yeah. So your inner child needs a vacation. Your inner child needs to daydream. Yeah? Your inner child needs to sleep more in a nice cozy environment. It needs to put its feet up and play some games. Believe me, if you do this, I feel like your relationships will improve, your health will improve, and you're gonna stop feeling so cold. I feel some of you generally go through these shivers in your body, this cold energy, because you're underslept and underfed. Give yourself food, give yourself pleasure. Eat a little bit of a cake each day, why not? Give yourself some dessert after a meal. You've been taught to fulfill your basic needs and not do anything extra. You're still at that level of, I have to work for my basic needs, but you don't have to. You can provide yourself the basic needs and do even more. Enjoy things, you know? The wolf that hunts for the pack can also enjoy the fruit of its hunt, can also take from time to time maybe the best cut out of a dead animal that it has hunted. You can do that. Don't be afraid. It's not selfish, it's self-loving. Selfish would be if you manipulate somebody, if you force somebody to do something that you could have done it yourself. That's selfish. But self-loving is, I give to myself things that make me feel good so I can be at my best when people need me. Yeah? Okay. One of my cats has started eating, and this is a sign I should wrap up your reading. I feel it was the exact length as the previous ones were. I'm always worried about, symmetry and balance in my readings. But anyway, it's not the case here. So thank you so much for listening. Please like this video, it really helps the channel. Comment below and let me know, is this resonating in any way? Do you feel like the wolf is your animal spirit? Why not? Let me know, okay? I will try to create more of these readings for you if you guys enjoyed them. These tend to be a bit longer and more in depth than my other love readings. So have a look around. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe as well. I have so many readings for you. So yeah, feel free to binge watch them if you so wish, if you feel inclined. But anyway, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for listening. I appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see my next one.